The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
Hi everyone, so I'm filming this video here in a local town centre. This is a shopping centre, and when we were children, or teenagers more like it, we used to come in these shopping centres, walk around. We saw life totally different to the way I see life now. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about how we go from ego awareness to our true selves awareness with time, with lessons, and with the karmic cycle. So when I was younger, me and my friends used to come places like this. We used to walk around in like big kind of big jackets, like puffer jackets, the type the doormen wear. Because it was all about respect back then, okay? It was all about who's the toughest, what people thought of you. We wanted people to fear us because this is what the ego created in us due to our old programming from the back in the day when we were evolving. We were in the tribes. Obviously the tribe leaders were the alpha males, and we all had this kind of false kind of thing in our head where we wanted to be the alpha male, and this caused the ego. It was all about respect. It was all about looking to see who had respect and what they had that we didn't. It was all about proving ourselves. We used to fight all the time with people from local neighborhoods, and in the end all it did was kind of made us look a bit stupid, because as you grow up you realize how stupid that was and how unnecessary it all was, because it basically isn't needed anymore. So just gonna sit on this nice yeah, so basically as you grow older you realize you don't need the ego as much, and that's when your perceptions kind of change, your paradigms kind of change, and you start to see life for what it really is from your own base consciousness, your true self, which is taken away from us when we're at school. Because when we're at school, we're kind of taught lessons about life and how to be and how not to be, which is basically untrue. And we learn as we get older that none of these egoic things matter anymore, and we eventually learn how to kind of be our true selves. And when this happens, we start to see life a lot different. So most people walking around in this day and age are probably stuck in their own head still, okay? They've probably got this problem happening here that they don't want. They've probably got all these stresses in their life that they've caused themselves. Because what's caused these stresses is the ego, okay? The ego wants something, so it does something because it wants something, and then this something that they want creates all these problems that come, and they have to deal with the problems and all this. It's just like a vicious cycle, which eventually we kind of transcend out of, and we realize that no matter what happens, what we want, what we try to get in life, none of this shit is going to matter anyway eventually, because it's all going to pass. I'll give a good example of this. So when I was working in my previous job, I was off sick, and there was one manager who was determined to try and get us to go back into work. Even though I was saying I'm not ready to go to work, I was suffering with really bad mental health at the time. They were still asking all these questions, trying to get us to go back to work. And this caused havoc for me for a good few months, and it was actually making my mental health a lot worse. And inside I was thinking to myself, none of this shit matters anyway. In a few years, none of this shit is going to matter anyway. So why are you wasting all this time and energy trying to get us to go back to work? Why don't you just accept the fact that I've said I'm come back to work when I'm ready? And in the end, we got made redundant from this job, and none of this shit really did matter in the end. So will he look back on that like I did with my life and think, well, what was the point in all that? And this is where we start to lose the ego, okay? Because we realize that everything we do from an egoic level basically doesn't end up anywhere anyway, because everything's constantly changing. And what really matters in life is love. So we go from ego to acceptance. Once you learn acceptance, then you can learn love, because the only thing left after that is love, because we're not trying to gain things with the ego anymore. So yeah, so when I was young, walking around, I saw life totally different to what I see it now from the true self. For instance, when I was younger, walking around a place like this, I wouldn't even look twice at things like the lights in the sky or the ground. All the beautiful things that you see when you are your true self, and you kind of appreciate all the work that's gone into creating all these wonderful shops, etc. Not that they open now because it's lockdown, but look at this sign, for instance. Like, if you look at this sign here, a lot of work's gone into this. Like, a lot of work's gone into that sign, and when we were younger in our ego minds, we'd walk right past that sign, not even noticing the beauty of life. All we were thinking about is, right, what can we do next to make people like us? What can we do next to be tougher so that people respect us, because we had that much fear of being kicked out of the tribe, which is not necessary anymore these days. That we just did all these egoic things, and there's still people to this day doing all those things because all this fear is ingrained in us from past lives, from old medieval concepts, old evolutionary mindsets that have just stayed in us, and none of this shit matters anymore. So what happens is, as you kind of come out of this ego level, like, lads see it different to girls. Girls have their own level of ego about what they look like, and the fear, not wearing makeup, things like that. This is all the same. But as we come out of this, we start to see life a whole lot different, and it starts to become a lot more beautiful and a lot more enjoyable once we stop being our fake selves and become our true selves, because we realize the fake self only brings a bad karmic cycle, and that's why we kind of let go of all these egoic programmings, and we start to become our true selves, and that's when we see the real beauty in life. So I'm going to walk out now, out this main entrance up here. And when I walk out here, I'm going to kind of show you some things that I see, or my perceptions see now, that they didn't see when I was younger, back in the 90s, growing up. So for a start, when I look at the ground here, I see the way the sun reflects off the ground. Okay, when I was younger, I'd walk straight past that and think, well, that's only the sun. Like, of course it does that. There's nothing special about that. But the reason I thought there was nothing special about that is because my mind was preoccupied by all these egoic programmings that I wanted something else that was false. It wasn't reality, you see. I wanted something that was false, and that's what the ego is. The ego is a false sense of insecurity. Okay, so you're constantly chasing this security when really it's already in you all the time anyway. Okay, we're all ourselves. We're all secure. You just have to find it. So as you evolve up the vibrational levels of awareness, you kind of unlock all these abilities to see what your true self is, because the ego has to kind of disappear before you start seeing that, you see. So some people might ask, does the ego have to happen in the first place? Well, in my experience, I would say it does. Okay, the reason for that is because when you're a child, you see everything with new eyes. Okay, everything's new, everything's amazing. You do see the beauty in life, but when you've been through the ego and then out of it again, you see the beauty in life, but you see it all in a whole new way. You see everything like kind of more beautiful than what it was even when you were a child. And the reason for this is because the ego teaches you to appreciate things more, because you've seen the other side of life. Okay, you've seen how bad the ego can get, all the karmic cycle it brings you. You've had that life, so now you've realized that you don't need to do that anymore. But because you've seen the bad side of life, you can now appreciate the good side of life a lot better. And this is necessary, okay? This is why we come into this reality, I believe, so we can go through the egoic cycle. So it is necessary. But half of you guys watching this now will probably already be on this level, okay? Because you'll only watch these type of videos if you're on this type of level where you're starting to transcend the ego. And if you haven't already, then you will soon, okay? Because you're on the right path. This is why these type of videos don't get that many views, okay? Because most of the world is still not on this level. They're still influenced by what's on the TV. They're still influenced by what society tells them. Go out, get this type of job, buy this expensive car, pay for it for 10 years, whatever. And they get caught in these kind of egoic traps because they're trying to do what they think's good for themselves, but in the end it doesn't go anywhere anyway, because in the end it all goes anyway, okay? Because the law of change, you see. So eventually you reach a point where you don't care even if you've got a job. You don't care even if you've got these fancy materialistic things anymore, because they're not what creates happiness in life, you see. I talk to a lot of homeless people when I come out, and a lot of them have got the best stories ever because they've had the best life experiences ever. And most of the reasons why they're homeless is because they don't really care about having the house, the job, the car and all that, you see, because they're living in the moment. A lot of them, unless they're on drugs, which is a different story altogether, but the ones that are not on drugs are living this life that is a lot better than a lot of people's lives when they're stressed, working these 14-hour jobs, etc. And they're just trying to do what they think they should be doing in life, you see. So when I talk to homeless people, they're some of the most interesting people I talk to, because they've got all these life stories. They understand life from the next level of awareness, because they get a chance to just sit and watch people a lot. And sometimes I think to myself, I'd rather be that person than some of the people walking around with very unhappy looking faces because they're stressed about this, stressed about that, because they're doing all this shit that in the end won't matter anyway. You see, in the end it doesn't matter anyway, because everything comes and goes. So I guess the reason why I'm making this video is because I don't want you guys to live this life of constantly trying to be something because society tells you to be, and then end up at the end of your life on your deathbed thinking, well, what was the point in all that? You see, so this is coming to everybody anyway, guys, because we all transcend the ego eventually. We all become our true selves, and that's when you see the real beauty in life. Even the beauty in these bricks I see now, how each individual brick's been designed and made with parts of the earth. It's crazy what you see when you reach this level of awareness, guys. And now I can just come out, enjoy the air, okay, enjoy the sky, enjoy watching the birds, enjoy looking at the pavement, enjoy being fully present in the moment, enjoy the coffee, enjoy having something to eat. Your taste buds increase, okay? Your perceptions, your 5 senses increase because you're focusing on them more. Rather than your mind focusing on all these things you don't need anymore, it's focusing on what's on the present moment, what's really now, and what life is, okay? It's bringing you back to what you truly are. This is why a lot of animals are enjoying themselves constantly, because they don't have thoughts. They just enjoy themselves, okay? Anything goes, okay? 2 ducks have a fight. 5 seconds later, they're just back to normal again, just enjoying, eating the bread, whatever. And this is what it gets like. So I hope you got something from this video, guys. I hope if you're on this level of awareness and you do things yourself to entertain yourself now in ways that you never imagined you would be able to, please leave a comment, let us know about that, guys. And I guess I just wanted to share this, but a lot of you guys probably already know this, but if you know anyone who might benefit from this, please share this video to them. And yeah, that's it, guys. So have a nice day. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of the day, basically being in the moment. And this lockdown is helping that as well, because a lot of people are getting a chance to see this new level of reality as well. So hopefully they'll be transcending the levels of awareness. But for now, see you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.